Imagine for a second just typing a single descriptive sentence into your computer.
Mm-hmm.
And within seconds, the screen shifts and this photorealistic, fully interactive 3D factory floor just generates right before your eyes.
It's wild to even picture.
Right. And you aren't just looking at a static image. You can actually walk around. There's a virtual drone hovering above, mapping the space.
Yeah.
And an AI avatar is standing next to a complex CNC machine, literally ready to teach you how to calibrate it.
It sounds like science fiction, but it's really not anymore.
Exactly. And that is exactly our mission today. We are doing a deep dive into the massive technical specification for the EON Genesis 2.0 unified AI training platform, specifically version 3.0, which dropped in January 2026.
Right, the new one.
Yeah. Our goal today is to unpack how this platform is completely rewriting the rules of how you learn, how you train, and really how you prove your skills in the workplace. We're talking about shifting from those boring static manuals to fully generated 3D worlds.
And to really understand why a spec of this magnitude even exists, we have to look at the big picture. This isn't just a software manual.
No, definitely not.
It's a blueprint. It's built to solve some of the most critical knowledge gaps that are just fracturing the modern workforce right now. EON Genesis 2.0 is targeting 3 huge problems: fragmented training workflows, totally inadequate competency checks, and this massive loss of institutional knowledge.
Yeah, that institutional knowledge loss, that's what makes the silver tsunami statistic in this document so terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
The source notes that 10,000 baby boomers are retiring daily, just in the U.S.
Every single day.
Think about the impact that has on a facility. We are talking about losing decades of specialized muscle memory level expertise.
Yeah, businesses are finally waking up to the fact that these workers are walking out the door with an average of 30-plus years of tacit, undocumented knowledge.
Stuff that's not in any manual.
Exactly. It's the kind of wisdom you only get from decades of hands-on experience, like knowing exactly how a machine sounds right before a bearing fails, or the weird quirks of an old HVAC system.
Then once they leave, that wisdom is just gone.
Poof, gone. And the senior workforce is exiting way faster than they can mentor the incoming generation. So companies are left with this massive capability vacuum.
Which brings us to what the document calls the fragmented nightmare, trying to fill that vacuum with current training methods.
Oh, it's a mess.
Imagine your own onboarding experiences. If a company wants to build a digital training module today, they have to juggle this ridiculous software stack. Word, PowerPoint, video editors like Premiere, maybe 3D software like Blender if they're lucky.
And then forcing it all into a rigid learning management system.
Right. And the source highlights that this takes weeks, sometimes months, just for one mediocre module.
And the real tragedy of that whole months-long process is what the text calls the assessment illusion.
The multiple choice problem.
Yes. After all that time and money, most of these modules end with a basic multiple choice test, which is fundamentally flawed for physical skills. It only measures recall, not actual capability.
Right. There's a huge gap between clicking C on a screen and, actually executing a high voltage lockout procedure on a live factory floor safely.
A very dangerous gap.
And that dangerous gap is what Genesis 2.0 claims to close. The core promise here is speed and accessibility. The spec outlines reducing that weeks-long development time down to 20 to 35 minutes.
Which is just staggering.
Mind-blowing. And for you listening, the craziest part is it requires absolutely zero programming or 3D modeling skills.
None at all.
So how is that mathematically possible? We have to look at the tech stack, starting with the environment engine.
Right, so the workflow starts with natural language. You literally just type a prompt like industrial manufacturing floor with CNC machines, and the system routes that through the Marble API.
And it doesn't just spit out a standard 3D model.
No, it built a photorealistic environment using Gaussian splatting technology, running smoothly at 60 frames per second. Building environments polygon by polygon is incredibly labor-intensive.
It takes forever.
But Gaussian splatting bypasses all that. It basically lets the AI splatter millions of 3D data points into a spatial volume based on your text prompt, creating a hyper-realistic room in seconds.
Okay, so you have the room. Then the platform populates it using the 3D object generator. The spec details this integration with fall.ai Hunyuan 3D to actually conjure the physical machines.
But the mesh is just the first step.
Exactly, because then it deploys another AI model called AML Hunyuan Part, and this does automatic semantic segmentation. It analyzes the 3D machine and breaks it into logical parts. The emergency stop buttons, the screens, the safety guards, and it auto-generates interactive 3D labels for everything.
And the really smart engineering choice there is the use of confidence scores during that segmentation.
Oh, right, the human-in-the-loop thing.
Yeah. If the AI is 95% confident that a shape is a pressure valve, it tags it and moves on. But if the confidence score is too low, it flags that specific component for a human to review. It handles the tedious stuff, but keeps a human around for edge cases.
Total game changer. It completely removes the friction of building the digital twin. And then the friction of writing the curriculum is handled by EON on Train AI.
The SOP extraction.
Yeah, standard operating procedures. You just drag and drop an existing PDF manual straight into the platform, like a dense 50-page guide. The AI extracts the procedures, breaks them into sequential steps, flags safety warnings, and instantly links those text instructions to the 3D components we just talked about.
Seamless integration. But building the world is really just setting the stage. The specification then moves to the experience layer, how you actually interact with this virtual world.
The virtual teachers.
Exactly. This is where it introduces the HeyGen AI avatar.
And if you've ever suffered through robotic text-to-speech training, this is totally different. The avatar uses natural intonation, it lip-syncs perfectly, and it has a full gesture library.
Yeah, points at objects, waves to direct your attention. It keeps you engaged in the 3D space.
And the spatial awareness is tied to this virtual drone controller,
Which is acting as a dynamic camera. So instead of you clumsily dragging your mouse around to see things, the drone flies smoothly through the room to frame the components perfectly. It even has a laser pointer effect.
And it's all synchronized, right?
Mathematically synchronized. They use a command queue. So when the avatar says, check the secondary relief valve, the drone has already executed a sweeping camera move to highlight that exact valve.
It's like having a professional camera crew and an instructor generated on the fly.
Yeah.
But for me, the feature that pushes the boundary the most is simulated IoT.
Oh, the virtual sensors.
Yeah, tracking temp, pressure, vibration, mimicking real-world equipment telemetry.
That elevates the whole platform from just a 3D viewer into a true diagnostic engine. An expert can configure really complex failure scenarios, like an intermittent fault on a virtual hydraulic pump.
Just injecting random noise into the data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Random data spikes, forcing you to diagnose a sporadic, highly frustrating problem without risking a multi-million-dollar machine or your own safety.
Being able to practice failure safely is huge, but how do you actually build those interactions? That brings us to EON Interact. This is where they kill the code.
Good riddance.
Right. The text shows the old way, manually writing JSON arrays, triggers like click, targets like emergency stop. EON Interact throws that out for a conversational approach.
Moving to natural language programming is a massive shift. The document is a great example. You just talk to the AI and say, when someone clicks the emergency stop button, I want it to play a pressing animation, make a loud click sound, and halt the machine.
And it just builds the logic instantly.
Instantly.
Yeah.
And prompts you to test it.
It democratizes the whole process. A floor manager who has never coded can build a rigorous simulation just by describing how the machine works. And the simulations are designed for active learning through their missions and recipes system.
The recipe system is fascinating from an adult learning theory perspective, especially the challenge-based hard skills recipe.
That's the one that subverts the traditional model, right?
Totally. Instead of making you watch an hour of video first, it drops you in the 3D environment and demands you attempt the task immediately with zero guidance.
Oh, wow.
It meticulously tracks where you fail, maps your specific knowledge gaps, and then only teaches you the steps you didn't know.
Respecting your time. And the mission types are incredibly diverse, like the fault diagnosis mission where you have to find a hidden root cause, like a blocked filter causing overheating. But my favorite is the teach back mission.
Yes, the role reversal.
Exactly. You become the expert and you have to teach the AI avatar how to do the procedure. And it acts like a novice student, intentionally asking clarifying questions to test your depth of knowledge.
It forces you to actually articulate the why, not just the what's.
And throughout all this, there's strict safety gating. The system physically blocks you from doing dangerous virtual procedures until you meet the safety prerequisites, like verifying you have the correct virtual PPE, insulated gloves, face shields.
Building safety compliance right into the mechanics. And all these features culminate in how Genesis 2.0 solves that assessment illusion. They replaced the multiple choice test with the trimodal assessment.
The DO-SAY show W framework.
Right. 3 phases of really rigorous competency proof.
Let's break those down. The DO phase is purely performance. It tracks your physical execution in the 3D space. Did you interact with the correct components in the right sequence? It logs your time, your procedural errors, everything.
Proving you have the mechanical skill. Then the ESAY phase tackles the theoretical side with an oral assessment. The AI avatar literally looks at you and asks an open-ended question, like explain the purpose of the lockout procedure.
And it captures your spoken response.
Yep. Transcribes it in real time and uses natural language processing to evaluate if you hit the key concepts and safety rationales.
Bringing the anxiety of a real oral exam into the digital space.
Totally.
And lastly, the show W phase, the biometric security layer, because the best test in the world doesn't matter if you can't prove who took it.
Exactly. The show phase uses facial recognition and, crucially, liveness detection. So you can't just hold up a photo to the webcam. Plus, challenge response prompts.
So combining the physical tracking of DO, the cognitive evaluation of SES, and the biometric security of SHOSHO, it creates a completely tamper-proof competency record.
A level of trust you just can't get from a standard LMS.
But even with all that rigor, they know you need sustained motivation. So there's a massive gamification layer, experience points or XP for completing procedures, leaderboards, daily challenges, and streaks.
The streak system is clever.
Yeah, if you log in consecutively, you get XP multipliers and badges, like Week Warrior for a 7-day streak, or Fortnite Fighter for 14 days. You can even buy streak freezes with your XP if you're going to be offline.
Treating industrial safety training like a mobile game. But there's another incentive structure that has huge industry implications. The creator marketplace.
The creator economy comes to corporate training.
Right. Say you have 30 years of experience in commercial HVAC. You could build a highly specialized diagnostic module for a notoriously tricky chiller unit, listed on the global marketplace for $199, and keep an 80% revenue split.
Turning internal training from a sunk cost into a global revenue stream.
Exactly.
Now, looking at the engineering realities, the 12-week roadmap in the spec reveals some really pragmatic decisions. The code analysis shows that about 40 to 50% of Genesis 2.0 already exists in older code bases, Code 5 and Code 6.
They're using a strict port-first development strategy. Instead of building from scratch, which always fails, they are migrating stable features first.
Bringing over the Gaussian splat engine from Code 5, the SOP APIs from Code 6.
Establishing a de-risk foundation before layering on the new AI stuff like EON Interact and the trimodal assessment, highly disciplined.
It shows they are building on a stable reality. Zooming out, this entire specification points to a monumental paradigm shift. The death of the passive corporate training module, replaced by a future where anyone can conjure a fully verifiable, hyper-realistic 3D simulation in half an hour.
It redefines verifiable readiness, and it leaves us with a really provocative thought about specialized education.
Oh, about vocational schools.
Yeah, think about it. If AI can instantly generate these photorealistic environments, dynamically simulate mechanical failures, test your physical execution, orally examine you, and tailor everything to your knowledge gaps.
What happens to the traditional technical college?
Exactly. Are we entering an era where you can achieve complete, tamper-proof mastery of a physical trade without ever touching a real tool until your very first day on the job?
A purely virtual yet entirely verifiable apprenticeship. That challenges everything we know about physical trades. We want to thank you for joining us as we unpacked this Genesis 2.0 technical specification, and we invite you to keep questioning how you learn, how you train your teams, and how we will all be proving our skills in the very near future.